We're talking with Michael Buffer, the most famous ring announcer in the whole world. Hello, Mr. Buffer.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very fine. Mr. Buffer, how did you start your adventure with ring announcing?
I've been doing it for 29 years now, and it began in the Atlantic City, New Jersey area in the United States with a lot of boxing that was happening then. And as a fan, I thought maybe I could add something to the fights. I had no experience and somehow got my foot in the door, as they say, and it just took off.
And who made you that you were involved in the whole business?
Quite a few different people. You know, we had, I guess my first job of consequence was with Bob Baraman and Top Rank Boxing.
Which bout, which was your first and the biggest one?
My first big fight was probably about 4 or 5 months after I started announcing, and I landed a job in Madison Square Garden, and it was Roberto Duran as the challenger against Davey Moore for the junior middleweight championship of the world, and Duran won and became a star all over again in his second career.
You, as you said, you have done it since 29 years. And which event, which bout was, in your opinion, the biggest one, the most important for you?
So many great fights, so many exciting fights, a lot of great experiences. One great moment was when George Foreman, at the age of 43 or 44 years old, became heavyweight champion again when he knocked out Michael Moorer. Another very exciting fight was when the second Holyfield-Bowe fight, Riddick-Bowe and Evander Holyfield, when Holyfield captured the title back, but in the middle of the fight, this glider, Fan Man as he's become known, flew into the ring, and they had to stop the fight while they got this guy, took him off on a stretcher. So it was a heavyweight fight. In the 8th round, it was interrupted for 15-20 minutes, and then they resumed. That was quite exciting. And one terrible moment in boxing involved Andrew Golota, who I know everybody in Poland knows, was when he was fighting Riddick-Bowe, and a riot broke out in Madison Square Garden, and that was kind of scary. But it's a shame because you know, he was disqualified in that fight, Golota. And at the time, he was winning the fight. He was really at his peak, a great fighter. And it's just, if he had only kept those punches up, he would have been a heavyweight champion, I'm sure, at one point.
And to be honest, I have never seen any of your mistakes during your announcing. Do you have some? Really?
Of course, everybody's made mistakes in their life. You know. I can't recall any right now, but I know I've made mistakes many, many times, I'm sure.
And do you still, or maybe, do you still feel some pressure before the fight? Are you a bit nervous sometimes?
You know, sometimes I get nervous, and not out of anything fearful, but I'm still a fan, and I love boxing, and sometimes the fights are really big and exciting. And I get excited just like people at home that are watching on television. You know, they get like, oh boy, here's the fight. And I'm the same way. I get just as excited as a fan even though I'm involved.
Are there any other ring announcers you admire?
Well, my brother does announcing for the Ultimate Fighting Championships, so I admire my brother.
What about Jimmy Lennon? I saw that you cooperated during the fight Lennox Lewis against Mike Tyson. And how do you remember this cooperation?
Actually, you know, it's probably we've never done anything where two ring announcers work together, and it was done because Showtime and HBO, two rival broadcasting systems, did the fight, and so they wanted to have the two ring announcers. And I wasn't going to do it. I was just figuring, nah, that's okay, let him do it, because it's just kind of silly. But Lennox Lewis's people and Lennox himself asked me to, you know, please do it for him, so I did it.
How long do you plan to continue your career as a ring announcer?
Well, you know, I'm getting kind of old now, so yeah, another 2-3 years maybe, and you know, I just bought a new house in Los Angeles, and you know, I'd like to sit back and play with the dogs and enjoy being at home.